A number of Ukrainian drone operators have joined the Sill, Hedgehog, 2025 military exercises being held in Estonia. According to Associated Press, more than 16,000 members of Estonia's armed forces and 11 military allies are taking part in the large-scale drill, which began May 5. The exercises are led by Estonia and focus on the process of deploying allied units to the Baltic nation and achieving full combat readiness as quick as possible. The Sill drill is part of the larger Steadfast Deterrence 25 by the NATO military alliance. NATO's Allied Joint Force Command used the operation to practice planning and conduct deterrence and defense operations.
Танку поправ назад сюда.
Andam kontrolli, andam killikka. Anna veits aega.
Колесная.
This is a
MX.
The Council of the International Civil Aviation Organization on Tuesday found Russia responsible for shooting down Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 over Ukraine with the loss of 298 lives more than a decade ago, in a ruling that raises the prospect of victims' families being paid compensation. A Dutch-led international investigation concluded in 2016 that the Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur airliner was shot down on July 17, 2014, from Ukrainian territory held by separatist rebels using a Buk missile system delivered from Russia. Moscow denies any involvement in the MH17 tragedy. According to Associated Press, the Netherlands and Australian governments brought the case against Moscow before the Montreal-based Global Aviation Agency in 2022, and on Tuesday welcomed the verdict. The International Court of Justice wasn't an option, because Russia doesn't recognize The Hague, Netherlands-based court's jurisdiction. Thomas Shansman, a representative of the MH17 Next of Kin Association, whose 18-year-old son Quinn died in the tragedy, reacted to the verdict saying it will help to force Russia to acknowledge their responsibility and their involvement, because that is what we are still waiting for. The Council found that Russia had violated the Convention on International Civil Aviation, known as the Chicago Convention, which requires that states refrain from resorting to the use of weapons against civil aircraft in flight. It's the first time that the Council, which represents 193 member states, has decided a dispute between governments. Dutch Foreign Minister Casper Veldkamp said that the Council would consider the question of reparations within weeks. The Russian embassy in Australia didn't immediately respond to a request for comment on Tuesday.
Right of the crash.
For me, and for lots of other families, other next of kin, they are waiting for Russia to acknowledge and to say sorry. That's what they're looking for, not about the money. Although that will be part of negotiations as well. But for most of the families, they say, you know, money cannot buy anything back. My son, my father, my daughter, my grandchildren, they aren't here anymore.
Right of the track.
And so they have now to acknowledge, and they have to start negotiating with Australia and the Netherlands about this. So for us, we knew already, obviously, that Russia is responsible for this, but it will help, according to myself and the people that I represent, it will help to force Russia to acknowledge their responsibility and their involvement, because that is what we are still waiting for.
Right of the track.
Until today, they deny everything. This is no longer possible with this decision from ICAO.
Right of the track. Right of the track.